with the power of mathematics. Hey guys, Eric Martel here. Do you like to make money? Do you want to increase your wealth, your net worth? It is my belief that everyone, wealthy or not, should be investing in income-producing assets. We keep hearing people that are living in big cities and they're saying, oh, my house has appreciated so much over time. It had doubled in 10 years. And you have other investors that are investing like myself in the Midwest, and they're all about cash flow. They're making cash every month. They're receiving some cash in their bank account. The question is, which one is better? Let's find out. Today, I'm going to talk about two different strategies. One of them is an appreciation strategy, and the other one is a cash flowing strategy to help you build that wealth and increase your net worth. But first, make sure you like and subscribe, because every week I'm answering the most important questions that people are asking me. So we all have that rich uncle, or do we? We all heard about that rich guy that's investing in a big city like San Francisco or Miami, and they made a fortune and all of that. And it sounds great on paper. And they're telling you, you should be doing the same thing. You should invest in Miami and stuff like that, and put all your money in it. And I'm telling you, don't listen to them. It may sound good, but if you're investing in cash flowing real estate rental, your net worth is going to be higher than if you're investing in these appreciation city. What people often forget is that your strategies, your investment strategies, have to be aligned with your goal. If you've already achieved financial freedom, you don't worry so much about creating a passive income portfolio. You've already done that. If you're working full-time and you're trying to get there, you're trying to achieve financial freedom so that you can do other things, you have to have a strategy, an investment strategy that's going to build that passive income portfolio first, achieve financial freedom, and then you can do something else. So let's say you have $300,000 and you want to invest that money, and you're looking at two different opportunities. The first one is a house, a single family rental, one single family rental in a big city that's going to be appreciating. The other one is going to be a small portfolio of 10 single family rentals in the Midwest that have a positive cash flow. First, let's look at the house in the highly appreciative market. Let's assume San Francisco. We're going to use that $300,000 as a down payment on a $1.5 million real estate rental. So how much can you rent that property in San Francisco? You can probably rent that property around $6,000 a month. You're going to have about $1,800 to $2,000 in various operating expenses, including property management, insurance, property taxes, all that kind of stuff. Then you're going to have your mortgage. So you put $300,000 down, you have now a mortgage of $1.2 million at 5% interest. So your monthly mortgage payment are going to be roughly around $6,500 a month. So you end up with a net cash flow, a negative net cash flow of $2,500 roughly. It sounds crazy, but people are actually doing this. They're actually buying properties with negative cash flow, because they are counting on the appreciation. They're willing to do this because they know that the prices of properties over there is going to go up and it's going to cover all these negative expenses, potentially. So let's talk about the other options. We're buying with our $300,000, 10 single family rentals in the Midwest somewhere. Each house is worth $150,000, and we're going to put about $30,000 down for each of these properties. And yes, you can get single family rentals in the Midwest for less than $150,000. So we can rent each of these properties for about $1,300 a month. The operating expenses for running these properties is about $400 per properties, and the mortgage is about $650 per property. So net, what we're getting in terms of cash flow is roughly $250, $260 in net cash flow, positive net cash flow for each of the properties that we have purchased. So before we go into the appreciation, let's talk about the net cash flow. In our hot market of San Francisco, we're about negative $2,000, negative $2,500. And in our single family rentals in the Midwest, they're generating about $2,500 a month in positive cash flow. One is losing about $2,500 and the other one is gaining $2,500. Appreciation, this is what they've been looking for, and let's see what they get 10 years down the road. So the appreciation market should roughly double what you can get in the cash flowing market. Obviously, a hot market like San Francisco, I'm going to assume a 9% appreciation rate. So some people are going to say, well, this is too low. Some people are going to say it's too high. I'm looking at long-term trends, and 9% is a pretty solid appreciation rate, even for San Francisco. At that rate, the value of our portfolio, we started at $1.5 million, that value of that single family rental. 10 years later, that $1.5 million home is now worth $3.5 million. So when we're looking at our cash flowing properties in the Midwest, the appreciation is not going to be as high, obviously. So I'm going to assume about 5% appreciation year over year, which is a pretty solid return, a solid appreciation if you look at the long-term trend in that area. But you can beat it. In fact, in the areas where we invested in the last couple of years, we've seen appreciation of 12, 15, and 18% in the areas where we are investing. But I'm going to take 5% as a long-term average of appreciation for these markets, which is pretty reasonable and conservative. So that $1.5 million worth of single-family rentals would be worth $2.5 million 10 years later, assuming that 5% appreciation. So compared to that hot market, the San Francisco house, our hot market is gaining here by $1 million. But that's not the whole story. Let's factor in the net cash flow for each of these areas over time. On the hot market, we had a negative cash flow of $2,200 or $2,500 a month in net cash flow. And over 10 years, it's about $500,000 of negative cash flow that has been accumulating. So our $3.5 million net worth minus $500,000 in negative net cash flow, we're about $3 million. On our Midwest single-family rental portfolio, the value is $2.5 million. And now we're going to factor in the $2,500 in net cash flow that has been accumulating over the 10 years. So the net cash flow that would accumulate over that period of time would be about $400,000, $500,000 over 10 years in terms of net cash flow. So now my $2.5 million portfolio of single family rentals plus the $500,000 or so in net cash flow, I'm about at the same price, about $3 million in total value 10 years down the road, which is very similar to what we have in the hot market. Give or take $100,000 or $200,000 either way. So what's the big difference here? We're basically at about $3 million in net value at the end of 10 years. But the big difference is kind of how you're living through that experience. If I live in a hot market and I have that single family rental, there's one thing that happens is that I have to put in $2,500 every month just to pay the bill, cover the bills, because the rent is not paying for all the expenses and is not even paying for the mortgage. On the other hand, if I have a portfolio of rentals in the Midwest, I am gaining $2,500 a month. You're not just going to sit on it. You're going to reinvest it, and you're actually going to buy potentially more single family rental. So at the end of 10 years, you're not going to have only 10 properties. You may end up with 20 single family rental. And this is what's going to make the big difference. Instead of $3 million, it's going to be worth $5 or $6 million. So significantly higher than someone who invested for appreciation in San Francisco. And this is something that you can never do with your single home in San Francisco. The other thing too is that if you are comparing, if you're working 9 to 5 right now and you're comparing, you're deciding which option to choose, the hot market single family rental is probably not an option if it has a negative cash flow. So yes, you could invest in a highly appreciative market and make a lot of money with the appreciation. But the single family rental portfolio is a much more flexible way to invest. And with that cash flow, you can actually reinvest, and your portfolio, your net worth is going to be significantly higher at the end of the day. If you're still interested in investing in a highly appreciative market, just make sure that you don't invest in a property that has a negative cash flow, because it's just too much risk and an additional burden, and you don't get the compounding effect that you would get with positive cash flow. With a cash flowing rental properties, you're getting the same value at the end of the day, but on top of that, you're getting that cash flow every month that you can reinvest into additional single family rentals and really get that snowball effect going. This is how I started and was able to achieve financial freedom. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and if there's any questions that you want me to tackle and answer, make sure you put them in the comments below, because I want to answer all your questions and I might even make a video about it. Thank you and goodbye.